Good morning. Today is Wednesday, July 13th, and it happens to be my 20th wedding anniversary. So happy anniversary to my wonderful wife, Leanne. And I am up on the roof again in Xenacoj. As you can see behind me, it is still very cloudy. We had a decent amount of rain last night, and it looks like hopefully it will hold off for today because we're hoping to get back to construction today as we head into a brand new day. Yesterday we went to Santa Maria and we helped to clean ears for widows, but we also cleaned ears for some gentlemen and some kids too. And it was basically the first of a two-part process. So the first thing is we have two nurses on our trip, Anne and Hillary, and they went in and they inspected the ears of those who came for this clinic. They looked in them, they determined if there was if they were clean or if they were dirty, and they also looked to see if there was any kind of infection or anything like that. And so if they were clean, then the ladies or the people there at the clinic were dismissed. They were allowed to go home. But if they were dirty, they stayed around and they learned how to put drops in their ears. And they were basically matched up with somebody else who could help them put the drops in their ear for the next few days, and then they could reciprocate. And if they had an infection, I think there was a couple that they were a little concerned about, then they had to refer them to a doctor where they could get something more powerful from a pharmacy standpoint. I suppose if we had had a doctor on the trip, that we may have been able to intercede on those parts as well, on those people. But at any rate, those people who came to the clinic who had dirty ears will be coming back on Wednesday when we go back to Santa Maria, and they'll be cleaning their ears. And that should be interesting. I'm not sure if our family will be there for that part of it or not, because we may still be building the first house, but we'll see how the week goes. Today, if we can make some decent progress today, that'll give us some more flexibility with what happens the rest of the week. Hey, that's pretty cool. Do you see the blue sky that's opening up just a little bit behind me? So at any rate, we did that, and then that went better, I think, than everybody expected. So we came back, and we decided to go into Antigua. Normally, that's something we reserve for the end of the week, but we're anticipating that the end of the week will be pretty busy. So we went into Antigua as a group, and we did just some exploring. That's kind of the place where you would do some shopping, and Leanne and I just went to McDonald's, believe it or not. They have the nicest McDonald's in the world, I'm pretty sure. And I bought an ice cream cone, Leanne got a Coke, and we sat there and we just talked. And it was so nice to be able to connect. It's not that we haven't been together, haven't connected, but I think that it's hard when you've got different dynamics going on around you and everything. So I really appreciated that time together. And then we met up with our team in one of the markets and bought a few things. It's always interesting buying things in Guatemala because there's a bartering system that kind of happens, and so there's a negotiation that always takes place. And it was friendly. We got a few table runners for Leanne's aunt, and I picked up a couple of ties and a couple of postcards. And then we went to dinner, and we ate dinner on the rooftop of a hotel in the middle of Antigua, and it was beautiful. It was kind of interesting. So the storm clouds were coming in, and we are sitting there trying to order our meal, and we did order our meal, really a nice meal. It's kind of weird, again, to be on a missions trip and having such a nice meal in a beautiful location. But as we're getting our meal, the storm clouds are starting to form around us, and you can feel the wind, and you can see the lightning, and you actually started hearing thunder. And right as we were finishing up our meal, the wind started to pick up even stronger, and we ended up having to go downstairs off the roof and we paid our bill down there, and then we proceeded back to the Cafe Barista, where we met with the rest of we met with Dave, who picked us up, and we headed back to Xenacoj for the night. One of the things that you'll probably read on my blog, but we've kind of noticed, started noticing it really yesterday, but things were happening before. It just seems like there's a few things that are kind of standing in our way. Leanne had a little episode and hasn't felt super. I mean, she's been okay, but hasn't felt 100% since she's been here. I was developing a migraine, as I shared yesterday, and there's been a few other things that have happened, and we just started processing if those things were coincidences or if there was maybe more to it than that. And it certainly made me think about making sure that we're always on guard and praying and getting others involved to pray alongside of us too. So if you are watching this before we get home, I would certainly ask you to pray for us and our safety and for the openness of the messages that we share, both in words and in action, that we may be effective and that we may really be able to help influence and impact those we're serving with and serving. So, at any rate, I hope you have a great day. I'm looking forward to sharing more as our adventure continues. And I guess that's it for now. Keep stretching.